From Lewiston, Maine, the scene of a horrific mass shooting here. At least 18 dead and at least 13 injured, several of them critically. And tonight, as we come on the air here, there is an urgent manhunt for the suspected gunman. Authorities say a U.S. Army reservist. The shootings at two different locations, one of them at a bowling alley right here behind us. Families, children playing in a youth bowling league. 12 minutes later, at a second location, a bar and grill here. And all day today, as we were driving through these communities, reporting on this awful story, the alerts going out on our phones, we all got them. Everyone getting these signals here that the shelter-in-place order has been extended across two counties. The gunman considered armed and dangerous, and tonight with nightfall, the eerie quiet here in so many communities. People inside their homes, their doors locked. The horror beginning just before 7 p.m. last night, the calls to 911 reporting an active shooter at the bowling alley here, that youth bowling league well underway. People seen running for their lives in the dark. A short time later, those calls of a second shooting at a restaurant nearby. Multiple law enforcement agencies and emergency medical personnel immediately dispatched to both scenes. And it was not long before authorities released these chilling surveillance images from the bowling alley. The gunman actually seen entering with what appears to be an AR-style weapon. Police warning the public to be on alert. Tonight, the suspect, Robert Card, facing multiple counts of murder. An Army reservist who we have learned went to a mental health facility for 2 weeks just this past July. Tonight, his car has been found at a boat launch in Lisbon, Maine. It's about 8 miles from where we're standing here tonight. The door's still open, the lights still on, and the note they have now found at his home. The manhunt at this hour now involving more than 350 law enforcement personnel from multiple states and from federal agencies, including the FBI. And the reminders are everywhere. We saw the roadblocks here today signaling the continuing danger. Tonight here, the stories from inside the bowling alley and from inside that restaurant and bar, and the family that waited 14 hours for the news. What they told me about their loved one, what their son tried to do. Tonight, the horror that began here just before 7 last night. Tonight, these small New England communities in and around Lewiston, Maine, north of Portland, gripped in fear. Nearly 24 hours later, families are still being told tonight by authorities to stay home and to lock their doors. All day today, we could see the main streets here, the back roads eerily quiet. Public safety alerts going off as we were driving in our car reporting here. Drivers being told the shelter-in-place order has been extended across two counties here. Tonight, the urgent manhunt for the suspect who opened fire during the dinner hour last night at two different locations where neighbors, where families and their children were gathered. Tonight, the death toll, at least 18 people killed, 13 injured, several critically.
Need you to respond to the town of Lewiston.
The first 911 calls coming in at 6:56 p.m. last night.
Spare time recreation for an active shooter incident, multiple people down.
Parents shielding their children, some running for their lives. It was youth night at the local bowling alley. Just-in-time recreation, it's called, also known here as the spare time bowling alley. 7 people were killed inside. Authorities say 6 males and 1 female.
Well, we were inside and it's normal night of bowling, and out of nowhere he just came in and there was a loud pop. Thought it was a balloon. I had my back turned to the door, and as soon as I turned and saw it was not a balloon, he was holding a weapon, I just booked it down the lane and I slid basically into where the pins are and climbed up in the machine and was on top of the machines for about 10 minutes until the cops got there.
Megan Hutchinson and her 10-year-old daughter Zoe were inside. They raced to barricade themselves in a storage room.
When I turned around, I saw the shooter right behind me. He had just come in the door. Between the lanes, there's some swinging doors, like where they keep all the mechanical stuff out back. So we kind of all just ran that way.
Zoe's leg grazed by a bullet.
I never thought I'd grow up and get a bullet in my leg, and it's just like why? Like, why do people do this? I was more worried about, like, am I gonna live? Am I gonna make it out of here? Like, what's gonna happen? Are the cops gonna come?
And then 12 minutes after those first 911 calls from the bowling alley, 7:08 p.m., the calls to 911, gunfire at a second location.
At about 7:08 p.m., the communications center received multiple 911 calls about an active shooter inside of a Schmenge's Billiards.
This time, Schmenge's Bar and Grill, just 4 miles from that bowling alley. 8 people killed inside, 1 person killed outside. Less than an hour later, 8:06 p.m., the sheriff's office releasing these chilling images of the suspect. Tonight, identified as 40-year-old Robert Card. Sources say Card is a U.S. Army reservist. A local law enforcement bulletin describing him as a certified firearms instructor. Authorities concerned the suspect's tactical knowledge, making him an even greater threat. The images showing him entering that bowling alley, his AK-47 style rifle raised to his shoulder, aiming his weapon. Nearly 2 hours later, 9:56 p.m., the suspect's white Subaru found with the doors open at a boat landing in Lisbon, Maine, about 8 miles from those 2 Lewiston locations.
He should be considered armed and dangerous. Based on our investigation, we believe this is someone that should not be approached.
In the overnight hours and all day today, the all-out search for the suspect. The signs in so many communities here, shelter in place. Helicopters searching overhead, aircraft with infrared cameras. The suspect now wanted tonight on multiple counts of murder.
Currently, there is an arrest warrant for 8 counts of murder for Mr. Card. And the reason it's 8 counts because 10 people have not yet been identified. As those people are identified, the counts will probably go to the total of 18.
The medical teams racing into action. Ambulances rushing to the scene, loading victims, hospitals inundated. 100 off-duty medical staff racing in to help. Outside, police guarding the entrance.
We had a first patient arrive at 7:24 p.m. and over the next 45 minutes, we received a total of 14 patients. 8 of those patients were admitted to our hospital. 3 of those patients are deceased.
From her hospital bed today, Jennifer Zanka telling us she was having dinner with friends at Schmenge's Bar and Grill when the shooting began at that second location.
When I turned around, we all turned around and realized what was happening. We dropped to the ground. And that's when I think I was shot in the arm.
She'd been shot, but this retired nurse still escaped through the back door.
I kept my hand on my arm like a tourniquet because it was bleeding pretty heavily. And I went to hide behind the dumpster. There was another gentleman there. But I knew I needed to get help.
Rushed to the hospital, a doctor she used to work with, now operating on her.
I was one of the lucky ones. If the bullet had been in either direction, I definitely would not have survived.
She knows she survived while 18 others did not. This was the post on Facebook just today. A wife asking about her husband who worked at that bar and grill. Tracy Walker writing about her husband, Joseph. Please pray. I haven't heard anything about my husband. He was at Schmenge's. Tonight, after waiting 14 hours for word, the family learned he was killed. His father, Leroy Walker, describes the emptiness.
Your whole body, everything goes out of you. Your heart goes flip-flop, and your gut, it feels like there's a vice in you. Your head can't take it, and you just feel like you're going to blow up. That's what you feel like, or blow out. I'm not sure which way, but you got no legs. Your mind can't. You're thinking, but you're not knowing what you're thinking. You don't even know where you're going. Yeah, it's an empty. It's just hard. I don't know how. Some people I've listened to people try to explain when something happens in these shootouts and stuff. I don't know how they do it. I can't explain it. Tell you the truth, I can't. I can tell you though, it's empty. It's empty. Mm-hmm. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
I'm sorry.
Well, we'll have to just wait and see, I guess.
Leroy is a local councilman here. He says state police told the family that his son was a hero who grabbed a knife behind that bar to try to stop the gunman, but that he was killed. Leroy's family showed us the article when his son was a hero back in high school, helping to stop a thief at a local jewelry store. His father was not surprised to learn that his son tried to help again. He says he'll miss the visits from his son after he would finish work. Those visits at night when he got off shift, you'll miss those
kill
most.
Me.
Yeah,
gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing is the other poor people that are out there doing the same thing as I'm doing right now, having no place to really go, or feel like you got a place to go. just emptiness. I feel so sorry for them too.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.